Hello everybody, welcome back. Um, this is a Blender lesson, so we're going to be using Python and Blender again, like some of our old lessons. What we're going to be making is, we're going to be making this thing. I think it's like a steam, I know it's a steam power, so the blue thing's water, the water boils and steam comes out. Yeah, that's what we're going to be making. So, yeah, let's start. So first BPY, and import BPY, because we need to import the important things, and also math, random, math details, import vector. So, we obviously import BPY because, well, BPY is what we need for this, for using Python and Blender. And math, we're going to use math because there's going to be an animation where there's going to be an animation in this well, there will be, and basically, well, actually no, there's not going to be animation. The math is for calculating some stuff which we need, and then random and vector and misfiring random numbers, and then vector. Well, we need vector to be able to build some stuff to define their locations. So let's start. So first, let's select all action, select the object, delete, use global is false, so we're just clearing everything over here, so the other things we put on won't like overlap with everything. Now let's define some of the helpers we need. I say some of them because we're not going to define all of them just yet. First thing we want to define is the helper that will help us add the pipes. Actually, let me put some fancy stuff on helpers. Yeah, make it nice and fancy. Okay, so define add pipe. P1, P2 radius is 0.03. Name equals pipe. Then we have rec, which is equal to P2 minus P1. So P1, P2 are 2 points. Are 2 points of the pipe. So it's a Microsoft Paint. So let's P1, P2. Let's first draw axes. P1, P1, P2. So what we're saying here is we have P1 and P2. and we have y and x. But this is for 2D. Uh, if you're familiar with the 2D coordinate system, you would know that the vertical is y, the horizontal is x, but here it's actually x and z. And z. And z. P1 is for z and x. And the vector is p2 minus p1, so basically it just gets like this length. The vector. Okay. So now let's continue. Rotation. Vector 2 track called z y dot 2 Euler. So Euler is like a simple rotation method, and then quad is a more complex way to rotate. So basically what this does is converts the quartz track thing, the complex method, into the Euler, which is the more simpler one, the one that's easier to code. So we want to rotate down the z and y. So x, let's rotate this, so we have x, we have y. So x is this way and y is that way, and the z is up. Pretend like it's not 2D and this way is actually up, not like north, just up, and then this is left and right. Or actually it's not left and right, it's like different directions, it's just easier to display them as left and right. So actually the y would go through the z and x, so yeah. So bpy.obs.mesh.primitive cylinder add. So we're gonna add the pipes and define some stuff. The radius is obviously this thing. We want the radius. Depth goes vec.length. So the length of the vec is the depth of basically the height. Location is p1 plus p2 halved, because the location is the midpoint. So p1 plus p2 divided by 2 will get you the midpoint. Rotation is what we have here, rot. Alright, now just have to give it a name. bpy.context dot object dot name is name, and then return the cylinder. Okay, and actually we're going to ignore the materials, so the shading and stuff for now. Like, they're going to start building right away. So let's start with the straight pipes. Straight pipes, and actually have an image to help us. Yes, straight pipes. So what does this image help us? So basically Well, it just helps us with our variables that we define. So the straight pipes, we're going to do R0 to R1, and then R2 to R3, and also use the R1 to R3, and then we have the same thing on this side. We're just going to define some stuff right now. So R0 vector negative 0.2 to 0.25. R1 vector negative 0.8 to 0.25. R2 vector negative 0.8, 1.6. R3 vector negative 0.2, 1.6. Okay, now down, look at the right, and then this is left. D0, D1, D2, D3, and then actually it's just the same thing, I think, except with only a few changes. Wait, yeah, because on the picture things are reversed, so actually it's this, then that. So it's the same thing, except remove the, or except with no negative signs, and backwards from the other thing. So remove this, and then move this, which is actually the same thing as last time. I didn't, yeah, and remove the negative sign, and then over here, remove the 0.8, and then over here 0.2. Alright, and now let's do the F's. So this part, the inlet, the outlet. So S, no, the inlet, yeah, F3. And why do I go from 0 to 3? Well, no reason. I think it's just, I like it. Vector 0.02, 0.001, 0.82. Okay. Then steam outlet. So this part where the steam goes up is S0, S1, and S2. Wait, I can use my copied vector over here and then into the variables like that. So negative 0.15, 2.05. Actually, let's just copy this because I think it's more similar than the previous thing copied, because I think all I need to change is this part and this part. Alright, now let's actually, now that we're done defining the variables, let's actually make the pipes. Wait, we have the name. We need to define the radius first, because we can add the points in the name during the code when we put it in. Pipe radius is 0.9. So, actually first I'm going to do add pipe. No, never mind. 0.09, okay. Build pipes. Riser H1 is equal to add pipe R0 R1 pipe radius riser H1. Copy this 1, 2, because we have riser V. So H1B, so horizontal 1, vertical, horizontal 2. One picture. Oh, it's not this picture, but the right. This is the riser. This is so the water comes up and rises. Near the down camera, so the water comes back down this way. And obviously, the names are not the same. V H2 R0 R1 nope, R0 R2 then R0 no R2 R3. Okay. Now let's do down H1. So the down comer, the D part. Down H1. Down comer. D0, D1. And then copy it again twice. V H2 D1 D2 D2 D3 V H2. Nice. Downcomer. Okay, now we just need to feed main. So add pipe. So the F0 F3 pipe radius times 0.6, so it's around half a small, and then feed main. Out V1 is pipe S0 S1 pipe radius times 0.5 outlet V1. Actually, let's make this out. Copy out V2 S1 S2, same pipe radius, except we just rename this one to 2. Okay, and let's see if there's any errors. Oops, yes there is, because I did at the commas. Action. Mod BPY that select all. Object that select all. Okay, so now we have the pipes. Alright, and yeah, that's it for this first lesson. Next lesson I'm going to continue finishing it up. Yeah, so we're going to add the materials. So that's it for today. See you next lesson. Bye.